Good evening, festive folks, and welcome to this year's holiday episode of Third Impact Anime. For this now the fourth year in a row, in podcast form at least, Taiiku-Claus has descended down the anime chimney to deliver one giant ass to all of us yet again. That's right, it's time once again for Anime Secret Santa. I am Austin, of course, and I am joined by two other jolly elves.
Ho ho ho! Get stocking your stuffing with anime reviews. It's Bill.
I love to stock my stuffing. It's my favorite part of the holidays. But that stuffing sure is stocked.
I'm jingling some bells. Hi, it's Tori.
You and your cat have that in common.
That's true.
She is a regular jingle ball bell little
We're just a couple of jinglers over here.
He just likes to jingle bell rock all around the house.
More like a jingle bell lump with the way that she lays on the couch sometimes.
True, she takes after me.
So in the spirit of the holiday season, I do want to ask you guys, what is your, when this time of year comes around, what is your go-to holiday or seasonal beverage that you enjoy the most? Bill, what would that be for you?
Nothing too fancy. I primarily like the apple cider, especially during cold days. It's really nice on the throat, and it tastes wonderful.
So true. I've also been enjoying some apple cider recently because Tori had the great idea of buying some for Thanksgiving, so we still have some in the fridge that we're getting through. It's yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Tori, what about
ciders. Lately, this is on the newer end because I don't really have a drink that I go to every year, but I have been consuming ridiculous amounts of hot chai lattes with gingerbread syrup at work.
Oh.
And oh man, they're so good with like a little bit of maple syrup. And if you want to get extra fancy, steam some cinnamon in the milk, and it's so good.
Yum.
Is there like a name you would apply to that kind of a beverage?
No. So we have the gingerbread latte, and that's just the gingerbread and the maple syrup in a latte. But if people ask for that and I'm like the one making the drink, I'll be like, if you like chai, you should try it with the chai. And if you like cinnamon, let me put a little cinnamon in it, and it's like a cookie essentially. And I've not had a negative comment about it so far. It's just a gingerbread chai.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty plainly descriptive. I was more so wondering, like, if you gave it like a catchy name, like, what would you go with? The most wonderful chime of the year? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
No, see, I'm that person that if a restaurant or a coffee shop has names that make me feel ridiculous ordering them, like, I'll just leave. I don't want to do it. So I don't want to put people through that. I don't want to stand there feeling like a a-hole ordering like Big Daddy John's barbecue, like blue cheese mouth punch burger or something.
The Mocha Mint Holiday Spectacular.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's so embarrassing. Like, I cannot look at somebody like with any kind of like dignity and order something like that. So I'm not going to make somebody else do that. Just tell me what you want and I'll make it. I don't care. I may suggest something for you, but like, I just can't do that. I did have somebody, it's completely tangent, I'm so sorry, but somebody did ask me the day before if we make frappuccinos, and I was like, no, but I can put ice in the coffee bean grinder and see what happens.
Yuck.
They didn't find it funny. They didn't find it funny.
I would have found that's peak comedy. I'm sorry. That's very funny.
It's okay. Nobody appreciates my jokes at work, but it's okay.
Well, the people listening at home, they appreciate your jokes. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening to this year's Anime Secret Santa episode. Yay!
That's right.
So, as is a typical Anime Secret Santa fashion, around, I would say, what is it, like the end of October or so, or maybe the beginning of October. I forget how time works often these days because it gets so dark, so darn dark all the time.
I like 2 p.m.
Exactly. Kory, the wonderful host of the Taiku podcast, will send out solicitations for people to join in for Anime Secret Santa, which is this wonderful thing that's been going on for many years that has been, passed. The torch has been passed multiple times. And, we've done it on the show a couple times before. Like I said, this is now our 4th time doing it in podcasting form. It's always a blast. But basically, the idea is we get a large pool of people together. Kory shuffles them all and assigns people out to be the Anime Secret Santa for someone else, and we are able to see what our chosen person has watched, whether they keep a My Anime List page, like a Kitsu or a Anime Planet, and see generally what their kind of taste is, and they're allowed to, give comments on the types of shows that they like, types of shows that they would rather not watch, and their preferred format of streaming or home video, etc. And then we pitch to them 3 shows and then 2 backup shows in case, for whatever reason, they've actually seen all of our picks. And we all do the big reveal on Christmas Day, which will be the day that you are all listening to this. So Merry Christmas, folks. So yes, we all received our anime from our Secret Santas, who we do not know. So we had 3 choices. I don't think anybody asked for their backups. There was no need for that this year, though I am always curious what my backups are. So I may end up asking Kory, after this is all said and done. Yeah. My backups I always try and keep very light and funny, because if you're to the point where you need the backups, then it's just okay, well, then you're going to be in for a silly time. That may or may not be a positive thing. So, but yes, so the choices for Anime Secret Santa that I received this year were, I think, overall, very quality choices, things that I had been meaning to watch for a while, and then one thing that I really didn't know anything about, which was kind of the wild card pick for me, that was unfortunately the one I didn't get to. But the choices that I was given this year were Godzilla Singular Point, Alien 9, and Yatagarasu, The Raven Does Not Choose Its Master. And really the challenge for Anime Secret Santa is that you really just have to pick one thing to watch and either write or produce some sort of review of. But Bill has inspired us year after year to be extra. So I watched 2 of mine, and you guys also went above and beyond a bit, right?
Yeah, I did 2.5, which my Santa was very kind to me, because I received 2 shows and a movie. So I ended up watching Paprika, still haven't seen it, Odd Taxi, and The Record of Lodos War, but I only finished half of that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated my picks as well. I got Rainbow, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and Astra Lost in Space. And I got through Astra and Cyberpunk, but I did not get through Rainbow because maybe my age is finally catching up with me, guys. I can't do all 3 shows anymore. I'm losing my edge. It's like an athlete in sports. They start to diminish when they get into their 30s.
Your edge has run away, is what you're saying?
It's starting to get away from
runner.
Hey. Not as fast as David, the main character in Edgerunners. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could not keep up with his edge.
All right, so for me, like I said, the two that I watched were Godzilla Singular Point, which was a 13 episode show on Netflix, and Alien 9, which was only like a 4 episode OVA. I unfortunately was not able to touch Yatagarasu, like, period. It's a 20 episode show. But I would like to read the reasoning for why my Santa gave that one to me. And I am interested in watching this show. It's just because, I decided early on to focus on the other two that I was like a little bit more interested in. I completely skipped this one out, but I have every intention to check it out this year, or, maybe I will get it as another Secret Santa option in the future. I don't know. I definitely want to check it out. But my person said, this adapts the beloved series of court fantasy novels about shape-shifting bird people and their palace affairs. A show that you watch for its dialogue rather than its animation, but has it where it counts. I mean, you're gonna describe something like that, court fantasy with shape-shifting bird people. That to me sounds like the tonal dissonance that I eat up in media. So Yatagarasu definitely sounds like something I'm gonna check out.
And I could not get to Rainbow, unfortunately. I was saving that for last because I know that show is very depressing. I was gonna give it the depression tag on Letterboxd, but I did not get to it because I went a little slower on especially Astra than I probably should have. But so this time didn't catch up with me. But I'll tell you what my person says about Rainbow. A madhouse gym follows 6 young delinquents trying to survive and cope with numerous atrocities in a special disciplinary school in 1950s Japan. So,
Yeah, all I really know about Rainbow is that apparently it's good. And I've heard, AWO, they were big, evangelists for it whenever it first came out, because it apparently did not get very much of an audience, like, period, when it first came out, even though I think it was licensed by Funimation and put up for streaming or something like that.
it was like on their internet. It was before they merged, and it was just perpetually on their website for the longest time. And then the license got taken away. And that's when AWO talked about it, when it was basically in no man's land. And then recently, everyone's favorite anime media company, Discotech, put out a nice release of Rainbow. So it is available physically at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit of a similar situation to, like, the Tatami Galaxy, where it's like this thing had really no traction for ages, even though it was available legitimately through like official channels, but sort of found a second life in another way much later, even though the Rainbow's popularity is like nowhere near what Tatami Galaxy is, just considering all the other stuff related to that has become more popular since then. But yeah, Rainbow definitely sounds interesting, but not necessarily something I am would put super high on my to watch list, just because I don't know, it's like I enjoy stories like that, but they're not my primary go-to.
You don't want to rock out with depressing media that'll just make you really depressed and sad.
I mean, sometimes, but
time and place.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I actually had never heard of this until you had started talking about it, and then I looked into it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this may actually be interesting. So if you do get around to it, I will be very interested to hear what you have to say about it.
Now that you've mentioned it, I just have the Pillows hybrid rainbow stuck in my head from Fooly Cooly. So thanks for that.
Yes. Oh, I guess I can expound more upon mine that I didn't finish.
Please expound.
Yes. And you can cut that little bit out. That was just me remembering to get back on that. Sorry. So I had mentioned only watching half of the Record of Lodof's War, this person specifically recommended the OVA, which I guess is the way to watch it. I've heard about this plenty, but never had seen it. Their sell point to me, because I got really ridiculous in my submission portion of all of this about what I wanted and what I was specifically looking for. So my theory very quickly is either this is my Santa is someone who perhaps is familiar with me or is just very good at their selling points on some of these shows because they made them all sound so good. So my
you think your Santa may be in the walls, maybe watching you as we speak.
Exactly.
Which can't be, sorry to derail, but cannot possibly be as ridiculous as what happened to us last year, Kory, where Kory gave us all like each other. And I don't know, well, not all of us, but most of us got each other, which I think was hilarious. And I don't know if we ever actually mentioned that on the show.
I think last year I got, wasn't it Sarah?
Yeah, and Sarah got you or something like that.
No, Sarah got me.
Right, right.
And then I ended up with someone different.
Okay. Now I can't. I don't think I got any of you two, but the fact that Bill got Sarah and Sarah got Bill. Was that how that? No. Bill got
Sarah got me.
Okay, right.
I feel
But
like
it was too.
I got one person from our podcast consortium, so I'm not. I know it's one of you. I don't know which one it was last year.
But ridiculous. But I'm sorry, Tori.
Okay. Anyway,
Kory, evil guy. But anyway, continue.
So back to the Record of Lodoss War. My person said, similar in setting to Delicious in Dungeon. Your words, folks. Record of Lodoss War is a classic fantasy adventure story with some great OVA bubble economy animation. So, I started it. I got 5 minutes in, and that is the most goofiest English dub I have ever heard in my life. And then I swapped it over to Japanese, and that wasn't much better.
Oh, really?
So you're saying you loved it?
So I switched back to English. And I rolled with it. I got 6 episodes in, 5 or 6, kind of to where the big bad guy shows up, I guess. I see why this person sold this show to me in this way, because certain things were happening and like some of the character archetypes where I was like, I think I could see where Kui may have taken some inspiration from this, and also Trigger as well when they animated it. Maybe like this show influencing some of that. Maybe it's just me being very biased, and maybe I need to watch more of it, but I did not click with these characters in the same way that I did with the characters in Delicious in Dungeon. And that's not their fault. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just me. But I thought the premise was really interesting. I don't watch a lot of like high fantasy stuff, and so that was very intriguing to me. Maybe I'll finish it, maybe not, but I see where their thought was at, and I appreciate the recommendation.
Well, if you've seen that now that you saw the first episode, right? Where
the first 6.
Sorry, the first 6.
I got up to 6, 5 or 6. Yeah,
I feel like I've seen that first episode like 10 times because that episode was shown in my anime club in high school, and it's a first episode that gets shown a lot. And it has some really great animation flourishes, especially with the action sequences.
Yes.
Those are really cool. And guess what? You just experienced what like a traditional D&D game would be. But it's basically that first episode.
Yeah, that makes sense. Before I forget though, the opening song and the ending song are really good. Like it's just very like the style of anime music around that time, like very traditional, I guess, for the lack of a better descriptor. But it's really good. The vocal tracks are superb. I feel like I read, and if either of you know, correct me if I'm wrong, that this anime was an adaptation of a D&D game that ran in a magazine in Japan or something. Did I make that up?
No, I think you're correct. Yeah, it
It's
was like a yeah.
It's based off wizardry, which is more popular in Japan.
Well, I think yeah, well, yes. I'm not sure. Bill might be right. But I know it is based on, regardless of whatever the game actually was, it was based on some like the author's campaign or something like that.
Okay.
That, he was actually running with people. At least that's what I remember hearing. Again, audience folks, please do correct us if we're wrong about the details or what specific game it was, but I think it was some tabletop something or other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, but I agree on the end. I agree on the songs. Like they're bangers. Like especially, I love that end song. I thought the dub.
Oh yes.
The dub version of the song is actually really well done. And I can see why you kind of switch back because it is a very goofy '90s era dub. So it does kind of feel dated.
Yeah.
It does feel pretty dated. So.
Yeah. But that's not, once again, that's not its fault. It was just the time that it was
it's
adapted.
the time period. Yeah. Yeah. But it's one of the few, at least from what I can think of, it's one of the few traditional high fantasy stories that are not an isekai type jam, because that seems to be what all fantasy is now. So I think that and also just the high animation is what made it so memorable to people when it came out and why it's stuck in people's heads for as long as it's been around.
Definitely something that's been on my list for ages, but, like you, Bill, I've seen that first episode probably once or twice, but just never really continued because it is so, gorgeous to look at. So that alone kind of makes me want to check it out because I'm definitely the type of person who will be able to, if something is, beautifully lush, traditional 2D cell animation, even if it's a little bit dull in the character or story front, if it has that bubble era sheen to it, I'm probably going to be interested in checking it out.
Embrace me with your strong and powerful arms, your haunting words keep me close to everything about you. Romantic in ways that almost tear apart my heart. Can't let you go, don't you know? Io sono prigioniera, a captive in your gentle hands, a prisoner.
So that's what we didn't watch / didn't finish. So let's start first with what we did watch and did finish. Bill, would you like to start off with Astra Lost in Space?
Sure, I would like to. So my person described Astra Lost in Space as entirely wild time of 8 young people realizing their camp trip turns out to be more than just getting lost in space. I think that is a very good descriptor of Astra. So Astra is about a group of high school students that, as part of a class project, get on a spaceship and are going to stay on this a wilderness planet called Planet Nikpa. And basically they'd be camping there for 3 days, and then the school will come and pick them back up. And it's like a bonding experience / experience on living out in the wilderness. But when they get there, a black hole opens up in front of them and sucks all the students out into space. Luckily, they have their spacesuits on, and in the midst of space, they find an abandoned spaceship. They find out that they are 5 million light years away from their home planet. And so in order to get back home, they have to planet hop to at least 5 planets, and at each planet gather food, water, and other resources such as fuel to get back to their home planet. And each of them has a specialized skill, and they try and get back home. But on top of that, they find out that this is no accident, that they have been set up. They've been set up to fail and to be sent off for some strange reason, and that there is a traitor aboard that is causing issues, such as they find that on the abandoned ship their communications have been cut, and that someone purposely did so. So it's also trying to figure out who is the traitor. So that is the overall view of Astra. Overall,
I've never played Among Us, but isn't that Among Us?
Basically.
You know what? I didn't think of it like that, but I can see that now that you just said it.
Which I know Among Us is also just the thing, right? Sort of?
Yeah, sort of, yeah. But I would say it's less Among Us because there's not like killings on the spaceship every single second. Mm-hmm. It's more about exploring the planets and the interpersonal relationships with these different crew people, because each of them has the specialized skill and each of them has their own problems that they learn to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the show would improve or decline if there were killings every few seconds on the spaceship?
It'd be a different show.
That would be Danganronpa.
Actually,
or
yes,
Dead Space.
It would be Danganronpa, because I've not played Danganronpa, but I assume Danganronpa also applies many anime archetypes. And this show is so many anime archetypes that at first I was like, I'm gonna hate this show because I've watched enough anime where certain archetypes I want to go in the garbage or like do something different. For example, the main girl of the show is like the kind but clumsy, klutz character. That's like,
oh, silly me.
Oh, silly me. There needs to be a name for this archetype because I find it so annoying. I can only take that character so many times. And each of them has.
There is a
the
term
Usagi
for that.
Type?
It's Dojiko.
Dojiko?
Dojiko.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
What does that mean?
You're
Is that
welcome.
like clumsy girl?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a Dojiko.
But don't you have to be like? I'm sorry, Bill. Just not to get too hung up on it, but don't you have to be like a little ganky too? So how do you like incorporate that into it, or is that already incorporated?
Not necessarily.
Into it? Okay.
She also the Dojiko girl also mispronounces everybody's names, so that's also a common thing, kind of like what Luffy does in One Piece. There's also a tsundere character, because of course there's the Kwai Shiat library type. There's like the stuffed Toic badass character that I just kind of roll my eyes out. But once I got past that, I'd say this show is a very good traditional sci-fi story, because there are greater plays at work as they discover as the show goes on. Because they find that they have connections with one another, and that, for example, they find out amongst them that every one of them has parents that have neglected them or treated them unfairly or abused them or made them go into a certain field or profession or just completely ignored them. But there's a reason for that, which I don't want to spoil because that gives away the whole game of the plot. But there's a reason why these parents are treating their children this way, and why they have been not as caring as a traditional parent might be. One thing I will spoil.
Can I throw out a guess, and you do not have to confirm or deny?
I'll go for it.
It's because all these children have some weird thing in common with them that will, like, I don't know, destroy the world or undo the fabric of society. So, and
Yes.
the parents have been told that, like, you have to basically treat your child like not your child, they're the enemy or something like that.
Well, yes, they're basically told like the children among them have a big secret in their origins that, if revealed, would cause great damage to the overall society and to the parents' reputations. So I'll say that. But it's a good. I think it's a good story because each of them grow and change and get to know each other as they go on. There's one character I thought was really cool, is that there was one character that was intersex in the story, which I thought that was really cool because intersex characters are rare, and they don't I don't know how to describe it. They don't treat it as like a weird thing, or it's like a carnival barker would if it was like the 1800s. They just treat it as this is how they are, and everyone's pretty cool about it, which is cool to see. But there's a plot reason why a character reveals they're intersex, which I won't spoil. But it's cool to see a different type of representation in the show.
With you saying that and just the general setup of the show being how you described it as well, I do wonder if the creators were inspired by They Were 11, because They Were 11 kind of has a very similar setup, and it also plays a lot with gender fluidity and stuff like that as like a major part of the story. So I definitely, and it's also like a big sci-fi touchstone in manga. So I haven't read a whole ton of it, but I did get the Denpa Books release of it and read probably like maybe the first third of it, and that kind of sounds adjacent to what you're talking about. So I do wonder if there's some pollination happening from the legacy of that.
Possibly. I haven't read They Are 11, so I couldn't tell you if they're similar, but that is a possibility. But yeah, I thought it was a really good traditional sci-fi plot. It kind of reminded me of stuff like Star Trek Voyager, which is the same premise of a ship is sent out millions of light years away and they have to try and survive and get home and get along as a crew. Or the 2000s reboot of Battlestar Galactica had a similar plot where they're trying to get back home or find a home. So it pulled on some pretty classic sci-fi tropes that I thought worked out.
And does it end satisfyingly?
Yes, I think it does. It's a 13-episode show, but the first episode and last episode is an hour each.
Okay.
Where then the rest are the traditional 23 minutes, 24 minutes. And I never felt like the show padded or it was a waste of time. There are some gimmicks and traditional anime gimmicks, like they do a beach episode because of course they have to do a beach episode.
Required to get a budget.
Right.
Yeah. But from what I looked online, the source material is really short. It's only 6 or 7 volumes. So
okay.
They didn't have to worry about cutting things, I assumed. So I think it worked out.
I also I do believe I have seen it on either the Shonen Jump or the Viz app as part of their Vault subscription. So I've had it on my favorites list there. Yeah, my to read list there for quite some time, but just haven't had a chance to check it out. But now with your mostly positive review, it seems I will have to give it a read, and maybe a couple chapters in I'll decide if I want to watch it or not.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty easy watch. It didn't you're also, I guess my last point is this is the first time for Anime Secret Santa where I did the dub for both shows.
Ooh. You're moving up in the world, Bill.
Well, I did the dub because For some reason, I could not pay attention with the Japanese in Astra, and the dub kind of kept my attention. It's not the greatest dub in the world. I thought it was serviceable, but it did its job. And later for Cyberpunk, I thought the setting kind of better fit with the dub cast. So, but I'll get later into Cyberpunk. But yeah, I'd say overall I was very positive about Astra, and while I found the archetypes and some of the usual cliches annoying, the overall plot and twist and the interpersonal dynamics of the crew, I grew to enjoy.
Well, let me tell you about something that is borderline impenetrable without its English dub, and that's definitely what I watched. Not that it's penetrable with an English dub either.
No.
But I guess, wait, was that my segue into talking about what I wanted to talk about?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
okay. Well, I guess that just worked out, huh? But Tori, did you have anything else in response to what Bill talked about his show with?
It sounds like it would be interesting. This is kind of newer, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have the year in front of me because I'm a bad person.
No, that's okay. Because I can remember people like
So-
within the last few years talking about it, but I may give it a go.
The manga came out in 2016, so
Okay.
that's still fairly new. And then the anime came out in 2019.
That's right. Yep.
All right, so back from my segue, the primary show that I watched was 2021's. Wait, did I get that year right? Yes, 2021's Godzilla Singular Point. Which was a 13-episode series on Netflix that was animated as a co-production between Studio Bones and Studio Orange. Studio Bones and Orange both we have mentioned many times on this podcast. Studio Bones people would know from stuff like Full Metal Alchemist, Space Dandy, Mob Psycho 100, My Hero Academia, if you've ever heard of that. And Studio Orange, of course, you'd know from being like the go-to excellent 3D CG anime studio that does stuff like Land of the Lustrous and Beastars and Trigun Stampede and Trigun Stargaze, which will be coming out, I believe, next year. So that's the studios behind this show, and just a couple little production notes about this series. I won't go too far into depth, but I do think some of them are pretty important. So the director was Atsushi Takahashi, and this was his very first directorial work. So he had, primarily worked as a storyboard artist on a bunch of different shows prior to this, including, I believe, Space Dandy. And other things for Studio Bones, but this is his first series direction. Notable that the character designer is the, I didn't write his name down, but he's the guy that wrote and illustrated Blue Exorcist. And had I wrote their name down, I would have realized that the Blue Exorcist creator is actually a lady. My bad. Thanks for the correction, Sully. Which was, very, I guess still is somewhat popular, but not nearly as popular as it was,
It's
probably about a decade ago.
following still.
Yeah, true. I feel like there was a point in time where Blue Exorcist was just like super, super popular, but I don't really see that much stuff about it these days anymore. I don't know if new anime for that is still being made or if they're like in between long hiatuses or whatever, but that was a pretty big deal in the tens, in the early tens. But that's like the only other thing apart from his own work that he's ever done character designs for, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then the writer, oh boy, this guy. I feel like this guy is now poised to be one of my my mortal enemies whenever I see him attached to something. So this is a gentleman named To Enjo, who excuse me. This is a gentleman named To Enjo, who is a former academic who's has got a PhD and used to work in academia in some scientific field, I believe, and then left academia to become a sci-fi writer. And boy howdy, did he not leave his academia behind whenever he was writing his sci-fi work. Boy, let me tell you. And I did not realize that I've actually been an enemy of this gentleman for quite some time. I'm really laying it on thick here. I'm being a little bit dramatic.
What other shows has he done?
Well, I'm getting to that. So there was this movie that I thought was going to be the best thing ever, because reading the description, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. This is like the fan fiction I had always wanted to read. It's like Sherlock Holmes and like Frankenstein and all this cool stuff, blah, blah, blah. This movie called The Empire of Corpses that came out probably about a decade-ish ago, maybe a little bit earlier than that. I watched that movie quite a while back, and I was so disappointed by how boring it was. It was so boring. I was like, man, you're going to have all of these wonderful toys to play with, and you're just going to do nothing with it. I do apologize for not being able to be like very specific about what I found to be really boring, as like it was boring, and it was also like kind of a decade ago since I've seen it. But that was my general vibe walking away from Empire of Corpses, is just like profound disappointment. And doing research for Singular Point, I was just like, oh boy, this guy again, showing back up. But yeah, he created that, and he primarily works on like sci-fi novels, and he's done, of course, the script for Singular Point. And also what makes me a little bit scared is that he is set to be the writer on Science Saru's The Ghost in the Shell that's coming out next year, which I was very, very excited about and still am very excited about, but slightly less so knowing that he's going to be the screenplay writer. But okay, what exactly do I have a problem with when it comes to this guy? Well, I will get into it. But a little bit, I guess, about what this show is about. So it is a Godzilla thing. It was the first, not the first Godzilla thing in a while, but I guess a Godzilla thing that people were, actually kind of looking forward to after a trilogy of less than impressive Polygon Pictures films. We don't
talk about those. Those don't exist.
Exactly. Bill basically summed it up there. Is like those movies came out. I believe they were Netflix exclusives. It was Polygon Pictures and Gen Urobuchi, the Thunderbolt Fantasy / Madoka / Psychopaths guy who.
The man that loves to make you suffer.
Exactly. A guy whose work I like generally like quite a bit. But I think he was making those movies while he was also in like peak puppet land. So maybe he was like a little bit phoning it in. I don't know. I don't really know anything about those movies other than people do not like them. And I think they dislike them for more than just the way that they look. I don't know, Bill. Have you watched any of those at all?
I watched the first one. And
okay, what did you think?
Of course, since it's Polygon Pictures, it looks terrible. And then it was a story that was kind of incoherent, that didn't make a lot of sense. So, and it's really hard to screw up a Godzilla thing, because Godzilla's stories are usually not that complex. So
I laugh.
So yeah, I just forgot about it. Me and Hank watched the first one, and I said, nope, We're not doing the other two. It's bad.
But yeah, so this anime series was coming out sort of in the aftermath of that trilogy wrapping up. So I think people were like a little bit excited about it. I remember hearing positive buzz about it whenever it was coming out, and I did watch like maybe the first 2 episodes of it whenever it dropped on Netflix, and just, you know, not out of disinterest or disliking it in any way. I just never finished it because I do that a lot, of course. Just watch a couple episodes of something and then never finish it until Santa brings it to me years later.
It's the phone's fault. Wait, the phone has polluted our brains. That's the problem.
It's because you be
Blame the
on that
phone.
damn phone.
Exactly. Well, this show is about being on that phone, actually.
I
which
will
is
say,
pretty funny.
I was in the living room while you were watching this, working on a project, and I was zoning out so hard, like, because I did not want to listen to what was going on while you were watching this, because it was melting my brain, that I actually, like, became hyper productive. So I guess if there's anything good out of it, it's that.
Even with the dub, the dub
Yeah.
cannot save it.
Well, see,
Well,
correct.
I'll get into it, but
at
yeah.
least from my point of view. But then when you said the guy was like an academic and that's
Yeah.
kind of what he did for a long time, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing that I can, sorry, not to like take over this,
No,
but
please go ahead.
it reminds me a lot of like the same criticisms about R.F. Kuang's books a bit. Like, I really love her writing because it puts my brain into maximum overdrive and I like really have to pay attention to what I'm reading. But that lady also has like 4 Ivy League PhDs. So it's like, I guess when you have been an academic for so long and that's like what you do and that's how your brain is trained, it's like, I guess hard to break that when you are writing like something fun.
hard to put it back in the box when you know so much.
Yes.
And I get
right.
that.
Yeah.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
It's fine. I'm not necessarily here to poo-poo on this guy for being a smarty pants. He's clearly
No.
a smarty pants.
Yes. My problem was Godzilla was in it for like 2 seconds. Come on.
Yes. And I'll get to that as well.
Wait, don't you want to see like Robot Jet Jaguar for like most of the
No.
show? though?
Yes. No, but
I
that
want
was
to
one of my
see the
favorite parts.
lizard.
Yes, I agree. I also wanted to see the lizard, but we're off to see the lizard, of course.
The wonderful lizard of
Tokyo. It doesn't really roll off the tongue very well.
no.
But I guess I should say what my Santa said about this show. And I think, I read what my Santa said before I started watching it, and it just kind of like, it didn't sink into my brain. But reading this after having watched it, I'm just like, oh, my Santa described this perfectly. But my Santa said, sci-fi writer To Enjo wrote a weird Godzilla show! 33% loving references to the kaiju classics, 33% inscrutable in-jokes about academia, 33% technobabble. What's the last 1%? It's a secret.
What was it?
What's the secret?
What is it? Because I didn't get to finish it. What was it?
I have some theories as to what the secret might be, but I have no idea.
Well, I guess it's Godzilla because he was in it for 2 seconds.
I guess it must.
Is that 1% of the runtime?
Might as well be. For the official stream on Netflix, watch the dub because the subtitles cannot keep up with Enjo's dialogue. And isn't that the truth? But okay, so this show I think has some great elements on paper, but doesn't necessarily pull it off for me. But generally, what the show is about is that it takes place, in the not too distant future, like the 2030s or something, I believe. And it follows a group of mechanics that work at this shop called the Otogi Factory. And they seem to basically just be like a for hire like mechanics workshop where they put together interesting things, and there's like a quirky old man that owns it, and this sort of interesting group of people that work there that we do and don't get to see a lot of throughout the show. They get involved in this like mysterious transmission that's they get called to investigate this like mysterious like signal transmission that's going on, while at the same time there's like this university student named May, who's kind of mostly our POV character. If you've seen like imagery from the show or advertisements, she's like the girl with her hair tied up right on the top of her head and with the big glasses. She also is investigating this mysterious signal, and sort of the two groups, like the other POV character named Yoon, the guy with the messy white hair and glasses. They sort of get connected mutually, trying to figure out what this mysterious signal is from, and then suddenly a bunch of Rodan descend, like a flock of Rodan, like descend upon Japan and like start, wreaking havoc all across the place. And it's a very kind of like Jurassic Park, like Raptors situation. That's kind of the way that the Rodan sort of feel in this, because like they're a little bit smaller than how Rodan is depicted sometimes.
They're like the putty. They're like the minions of the show. They're like kind of like they're like the first like.
Well, they're not that goofy.
They're not that goofy, but they're basically kind of like the henchmen. They're like the appetizer to the main course. Right.
And like the Otogi factory is like they work on a bunch of things, and one of the things that they've also built is Jet Jaguar, which is a famous Godzilla icon in of himself. And he appears quite a lot throughout the show, which was apparently one thing that the director really insisted upon, is having Jet Jaguar as a big part of the show, because I guess he's a huge fan. But basically it follows sort of the adventure of these May on this side with her like little plucky AI companion, which has aged so poorly in just a short 4 years. The idea of that is well, I'll get into it, but her May over here with her little AI Pello 2, and Yoon and the Otogi factory team over on this side, sort of both trying to figure out the mystery of this signal and all this weird stuff going on with all these inexplicable kaiju showing up all over the place. And Godzilla does eventually show up. You figure out kind of what a singular point is, and then there's a whole bunch of math and science, and it's it's something.
And don't they come from out of volcanoes too? The Rodan initially come out of volcanoes, and
I think so.
The two
something like that.
The two teams. It's so funny. The two teams don't really connect with each other until the very end of the show.
Right, they don't. But like Tori said about being on that phone, one thing I didn't hate this either, but with these two teams sort of being, they never really converge, or they never, like you said, Bill, they never meet until the end of the show. The way that they interact throughout the majority of the runtime is through like text messages, which are shown on screen. It's like a text roll, and they show like just the two characters, Yoon and May, like talking back to each other and sharing like emojis.
So much computer data just
spewed
across the screen.
Oh boy, yes. But I did like that. I thought that was a neat way to that was a neat conceit by having like our two protagonists like never meet, and they converge at the very, very end in a mostly unsatisfying kind of way. But like I thought that was kind of a neat idea. But and some other things that I did like about it, I really liked the old man character, the owner of the Otogi factory. I thought he was really fun whenever he was on screen. And in the dub, he's voiced by Keith Silverstein, who always does a fantastic job every time he's in anything. And him just playing this wild old man was awesome. So I really liked him. The design of the show is beautiful. I think that the Blue Exorcist guy did an awesome job with the character designs. Though it did stand out to me how like the character designs were very intentional to always have a ton of different t-shirts for May, but she always wears the same pair of shorts. And that really bugged me for some reason. I don't know why. It's like every like in-show day that passes, she's wearing like a different shirt or whatever, and it has like a funky design or some like nerdy thing on it or something. But she's always wearing the same pair of pants, and I'm just like,
Maybe
I don't know.
she has multiple pairs of them because they're really, really comfortable, and she likes the exact way they fit.
You know what? That's the only in the universe explanation, and I would buy that, knowing the kind of sloppy character she is.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, because she looks like she doesn't do laundry.
Absolutely not. No way. The thing that I really disliked about this show is that, again, the writer is clearly very intelligent and knows a lot about very sciencey things, and really, really wanted to incorporate that into the narrative of this Godzilla kaiju story, but I think did so to an extreme detriment because he like way overcorrected. There is way, 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 way too much technobabble in this show. Lots of concepts that they introduce like very, very quickly and do not fully explain, or they over explain it to the point that you feel like you're in a lecture hall and you're just completely glazing over and absorbing none of it. And there are long stretches of certain episodes in the middle that are just that. And it's like they're doing that to the detriment of like really building out these characters as like real people. Because I feel like there's not a single character arc in this show at all. Like every character stays exactly the same from beginning to end. There's no movement anywhere, even in like the extended cast where they introduce like this, you know, shadowy organization and this
that is hired
evil
by
tech
May,
bro guy.
By May, and she starts to work with this female professor that dies for some reason. So I'm interrupting your thoughts.
No, please. I mean, I know you've watched it as well, so feel free to chime in.
I watched it when it came out.
Right.
Subtitles.
Oh, man, no, huge mistake. Man, though I will say in the whoever was in charge of writing the English dub script or subtitling this, like my hat is so off to you. You are a king.
They must have had like a stenographer set up or something where they've got that little like command keyboard or something, and they're trying to, you know, real fast like sync it up because that must have been crazy.
And I know this is it's all such gobbledygook, but like Johnny Young Bosch and Erica Harlicker played the two main leads in the dub, and of course they deliver everything like with the appropriate sincerity that is required of a very hard sci-fi story. Though I'm sure that them reading the script in the booth, they were just like, this is a bunch of baloney. And I know some of it is like supposedly rooted in like real sciencey things, but I don't know where the science ends and the sci-fi begins because I'm not a smarty pants like that. This show is way too smart for me, or something. But I don't know. Just like the fact that it had so much jargon and just time spent on nonsense that wasn't character related or kaiju related really kind of soured me on the whole experience. Though there were parts of it that I did really like the very, very, very brief scenes with Godzilla. I thought he was like pretty legitimately terrifying. I thought they took some notes from Shin Godzilla in that regard. And the stuff with Jet Jaguar was pretty fun, and it's sometimes kind of funny and goofy. I did enjoy that.
Didn't other monsters show up? Didn't the best villain of all time. What's his name with 3 heads?
Oh, Ghidorah? No,
Ghidorah?
Yeah,
Ghidorah is nowhere.
Did King Ghidorah show up?
Nope,
Did Mothra
nope.
ever come in?
Sort of. So there. Okay. So Ghidorah never shows up. Not even a nod to Ghidorah, I don't believe. The only kaiju that are in it, like in a meaningful way, are Anguirus, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Rodan, of course, which, like Bill said, turning Rodan from one creature to like a flock of creatures, I thought was an interesting idea. But it also kind of reduces Rodan to just being a pterodactyl, which is not super interesting, but it's interesting within the context of Godzilla, I guess, because Rodan is typically just the one critter. And then Mondas is in there, and then they made up a brand new kaiju called Solunga, which is incredibly forgettable. He's like fine, he's whatever. He's just a big dude. And then there's a tiny little nod to Mothra at the very end, because there's like this scene where a moth creature that's like basically a tiny, like normal sized moth version of Mothra like shows up, and then there's a whole bunch of them at the end, and they don't really do anything.
Oh my god.
So Mothra proper doesn't really show up. It's more of like a wink and a cameo, which is
What's
a bit
even the
unfortunate.
point?
Well, it seems like based on the end of the show, like the post credits, they're setting up for another one, because the post credits scene, not to spoil a huge amount for anybody listening here at home, they reveal that the evil company is working to build a mecha Godzilla for some reason, alongside the missing scientist in the show that has been missing for like 50 years, who is somehow still alive and in the real world, because there's this whole because like the singular point itself is all about like different dimensions and like finding like, I'm gonna very poorly explain this, but like
it's
convergence
like
points.
Isn't it all for like video game part? It's like the Oblivion Gate in the Elder Scrolls games, where the Oblivion Gate opens the real world to another dimension, kind of like that.
Right, and like these different dimensions are like diverging pathways of like the ways that different like butterfly effect kind of like timeline divergence things, like, oh, this decision or this event will create this new reality over here and this new reality over there, and
if I remember, the singular points keep spreading to across the world,
and the singular points themselves are also like the kaiju, but also there's more of that, and also this like big red dust thing that covers the whole world with this unbreathable pollution stuff that turns the whole world basically into Evangelion 3.0, covered in red and everything. So again, there's a lot to keep up with, and unfortunately, because it did not grip me, a lot of this stuff I just kind of glazed over, and I wasn't really able to absorb what was going on. I think a good point of comparison in this show would be something like Steins Gate, where it does play with like a lot of, sort of ostensibly real world like scientific concepts. But Steins Gate does a very good job with having like character arcs for multiple characters, having characters with like lots of personality that you remember and have fun with seeing on screen. And this show just does not, because Bill loves Rintaro Okabe. It's his favorite character in the world. He does not find him annoying at all.
No.
Halloween Kyoma, Dr. Pepper, etc., etc.
Yeah, the drink of a genius.
Exactly.
But I have. I'm sorry. Go.
Well,
sorry.
my one real last thing, and I won't harp on it too much, but this did come out in 2021, and I know it was also in development for many years before this. But watching this in 2025 and seeing such like a like a joyful and sort of extremely idealistic portrayal of like your plucky AI assistant. Was very, very just like I felt like I was just sitting over there in a dark corner, just like, is this supposed to make me laugh? Like what?
You're supposed to.
I'm
you're
so
supposed
tired.
to find. You're supposed to find it cute, like the Tachikomas and Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Yeah.
Right, man. But it's just like, knowing that this came out just slightly before we are now living in an economy that is entirely propped up by overpromise and underdeliver AI nonsense, and people at the very top who want to recreate God in their own stupid image because they think they can do that some way. It was just very, I don't know. It's to me, I just couldn't shake the reality of reality when watching that. Mm-hmm. And sure, the little dog mascot is cute or whatever, but I'm just like, I don't know. Get out of my face, ChatGPT. That's every time that little thing, every time that was on my screen, I was just like, man. And like whenever like the little AI assistant gets like turned off at the end, and May was just like, oh no, Pillow 2, where did you go? Where did you go? Come back. I'm just like, man. There's some kids out there, or some legitimate adults as well, who would be like distraught if their Gemini machines ever got turned off. And I'm just like, you know what? This is making me sad now. I'm sorry. Let's go to something else.
Wait, Austin, I'm gonna make you even more sadder because when I watched it, I liked the show.
Mm-hmm. And to be clear, I'm not sad because they would be sad about their AI turning off. I'm sad because we would be in this mess.
That was a good. I can understand your points of why you didn't like it. I remember liking it. I will agree. It had technobabble up the wazoo, but I remember when I watched it, I kind of just let it wash over me. And just be like, okay, I'm not going to get everything, but I can kind of get the main points of what's going on with the plot. And I guess why I liked it was a different angle at the time. I think if I rewatched it now, certain things like the AI robot, I'd be like, no, I don't like you. But, I mean, we've had that in sci-fi all the time, like Haro and in Gundam is basically like an assistant that we are supposed to like.
So the difference there, and I don't want to keep harping on this necessarily, but the difference there is that like, because it's like kind of close to, because like this was written in like the Siri and Alexa time frame. It's like this was a very rosy yet somewhat grounded like projection of what this is like, what AI assistants could be like, in the future. It's kind of like what the oligarchs are selling to us as like the idea of what we're going towards is what's in Singular Point. And because of what's, everything that's going on with the modern day, AI ecosystem is telling us that this is all just marketing. It's not real. This is not actually happening.
You're not having a choice. You're going to have to use it, even if you don't want to.
Exactly. And this show does not play with any of like the
commentary on that.
It does not commentate. It does not have anything to say about that at all.
But that's not fair to the show because it was written in a different time before the AI boom / bubble.
Well, you know what? I will say I have higher expectations for someone who is, perhaps, a self-professed sci-fi author to maybe be a little bit more prophetic in his analysis of what he decides to include in his stories. Maybe he should have thought about this a little bit harder to think, okay, based on the current trajectory of how things are going and who is in charge of these things, maybe this actually wouldn't play out like this.
Maybe. I think they just wanted to have a cute mascot for you to click to, like with like the Tachikobos from Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, or Haru
You're right,
from
Bill.
Gundam.
You're right, Bill. I'm an idiot. It's all about cute mascots. You're right.
And I will agree. Like, something is just bugging. I think they thought they were gonna get another season of this because they totally set up a cliffhanger that never got resolved, and I assumed like, oh, they're gonna have another season next year. Never came.
Never came. I would gladly welcome another season if Pello 2 ends up becoming like the enemy that has to be defeated and has to be defeated by Ghidorah.
And it's working with Mechagodzilla.
And Mechagodzilla.
Right, together. Godzilla, Mechagodzilla, Godzilla, and Ghidorah and Mothra properly this time all team up to defeat AI.
My last point, it does fall into the like otaku trap of we have to explain everything because we have to put all the pieces together and have our big board to show how everything's connected, because like Gundam writers also fall for this trap, right? With certain Gundam projects. I don't think Hideaki Anno does this, but Ava nerds do this where they want everything connected, even though they don't need to be connected. Like, we nerds just want to have things connected when sometimes they just don't need to be.
I thought about that as well, and I thought about this show in the context of Shin Godzilla and also, like, Evangelion, which are both, of course, Anno works that I love, so I'm, like, super biased in that regard, I guess. But I was thinking that, like, the reason why Shin Godzilla works and has so much technobabble and this to me didn't work and sort of does similar things is because I think at the end of the day, like, Shin Godzilla is about it's like about something real. It's not about the technobabble. It's not about the specific fiddly stuff. It's about
people.
People and people's response to a disaster. Because I know Anno had a lot of thoughts about actual Japanese government's response to disasters and bureaucracy, and he actually had he had something to say there. It was about something. Right. He had a perspective that he wanted to share, but it seems like in Singular Point it's all very navel gazy and it's not leading to anything. It's just like explaining all of it for no literary purpose.
We are the nerds that just want to talk about the lore minutia, even though the lore minutia doesn't amount to much. Can't you just enjoy our lore minutia? What about the lore, Austin and Tori? What about the lore?
Right, and it's stuff like I agree. I mean, nerds do be doing that, but it's stuff like that has just exhausted me as time has gone on.
Right,
and it's why I think like Evangelion, like the last movie, is so great because it doesn't let itself necessarily get bogged down by all that, by explaining all that lore stuff, and it just takes its time to do character stuff, which is what stories are all about at the end of the day. That's what I care about.
Except May,
it's a fine line.
Except May, that never gets explained at all.
What doesn't?
I got her name wrong, didn't I? The girl, Mari. The most like, we're gonna do something with her, and then we don't do anything. We just make her.
No, her backstory absolutely gets explained.
Okay,
but
well,
also,
maybe I need to rewatch the movie then.
But also, who cares? Is my point.
I know.
Oh gosh.
Take your glasses, girl, and have a good time.
Go.
Take the slop and eat it.
Exactly.
Go be Anno's surrogate wife. As we do at the end. Let's go do that.
That's right. But I think I've gone on for a while, but I think that's pretty much what I've got to say about Singular Point. I didn't hate it. I just didn't really. I'm very like kind of net zero on it.
the tech minutia dragged you down.
Would you say you're -0 on it?
Hey.
Well, I guess I can talk about my next thing I watched, if
Please.
that's okay.
Go for it.
Yeah. My next thing that I watched was Paprika. surprisingly, I still have a few things left to see by Satoshi Kon, and this was one of them. And my person's reasoning was, before Inception, there was Paprika, exploring dreams and having some great surreal animation by the late great Satoshi Kon. Correct. I have seen clips and screen caps from this movie for all of the years I've been on the internet, basically. It was nice to finally have context to the parade scene. That's one of the ones that I would just see over and over and over. And it was nothing. The plot of that movie is not what I was expecting at all. It was gorgeous. I think everything was utilized very well. I think it's another iteration of him telling a story of your sense of self, your idealized self, and the not so great self, and all of those things kind of blurring and converging and getting lost. And then you're like, who am I in the end? This doesn't get so lost in that, kind of something, or kind of like maybe in the ways that Perfect Blue or Paranoia Agent does. I think this one, even though it's very fantastical, it's a little more grounded. It had some plot things that I really love. The neural adapter thing that they have in their heads to basically like SpongeBob-esque jump into everyone's dreams. I thought that was very fascinating. Yeah, the DC Mini. I thought the reveal of the doctor, like she was Paprika, basically, and that and maybe that was revealed sooner than I caught it, but I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. They sort of look alike. But the idea of kind of Paprika being sort of the more, how do I want to describe it? Like maybe the version of herself she wanted to be. She was a little bit more free-spirited, but was also able to like be very, I don't want to say manipulative, but very, very cunning, and sort of able to kind of convince people what they needed to do and kind of keep them on their toes. That was very fascinating.
When she doesn't have to conform to being, an office lady.
Right, a doctor, a very stoic, like professional woman in her field. And I, kind of cut I think my only complaint about it was sort of cutting some side eyes at the way they kind of treated the one character, the bigger guy. But it did flip it because she, the romance kind of plays out between them by the end. And I was like, oh my God, good for her. But it was a beautiful film. Really, really enjoyed it. And I am still trying to process it, even though I watched it like a week ago. I feel like it's one of those films, like most of his works, if you watch it multiple times, you can kind of see a bunch of different things in it. The scene that sticks out to me the most is her colleague, and where he has her like pinned down like a bug, and like that whole scene of him literally like pushing his hand into her, and the allegory and all that it was supposed to represent. But I was like, oh, that's almost worse. I don't know, something about that to me kind of felt worse than actually seeing it like play out like it would normally in a story, I guess. It just felt very, I don't know, it made me shiver. Did not like that.
Very visceral.
Yes, yeah, because he just the way he rips her skin open and everything. Oh, so too much. I think the only thing that I did not enjoy about it was the revelation of why the guy kind of like making everything go crazy, just the reason that he was doing it. I thought for everything else in the movie to be so grandiose and out there and wild, that just kind of felt too, like it was too easy of an explanation of why the villain was kind of doing what he was doing. You kind of get it.
You mean the older doctor in the wheelchair?
Yes. Yeah, he basically was just like, I don't think you guys need to be doing all that in people's minds, so I'm gonna just like kill everybody in their dreams, basically.
Yeah, that's one thing that like every time I watch Paprika again, and this movie I saw for the first time whenever I was in high school, made a huge impression on me. I thought it was just the greatest thing ever, and it still is one of my favorite movies of all time. But definitely the villain, or the villains, like the two doctor guys, the younger one and the older guys, are both like, they're the things that I always forget about because they are like just not very memorable.
Right, and the older guy, his reasoning, I think if that had been fleshed out more, because it's essentially like we should not be using science to play God, essentially. And that I understand. That is a very compelling motivation for a villain. And then his assistant, the other doctor, is just like, I just wanted this woman, so I'm gonna terrorize her. Like, it's too simple, I guess, for everything else.
Yeah, true. In the context of a movie like this, it is a little bit hokey.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so glad that for the most part you really enjoyed it, because this for the longest time, and probably still is, though I need to rewatch more of them, is my favorite Satoshi Kon movie, just because it means the most to me, like in a personal sense, because I watched it at a very formative time and I've seen it the most. I also think it's like the most visually fun. Like I don't sit down, like Perfect Blue is a great movie. It's excellent, but I don't sit down with Perfect Blue to have a good time.
No.
And I feel like this movie, like Paprika, is also like, just as much as Millennium Actress, like also a movie about movies and how much Satoshi Kon loves film, and like the relationship between film and dreams, and like film and consciousness, and film and like perception of reality and things like that. Which this movie really does embrace in like some very, very like literal sense. Like, Bill, I don't know how long it's been since you've seen Paprika, but there's that great scene where Paprika and the detective are in one of the dreams, and like he's sitting down in the empty theater explaining to her like shot composition, and he's sitting there dressed like Akira Kurosawa. It's very funny. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I was just enjoying your back and forth. Yeah, this is, I think, the first Satoshi Kon thing I saw, and to your greater point, I love that everyone who I have met who's watched Satoshi Kon's work, everyone has a different favorite. There's no universal, like, this is the best thing.
Yeah. I'd have to throw Paranoia Agent in probably for being mine.
And mine is Millennium Actress. That's my favorite thing of his. And my brother's favorite thing is Perfect Blue. So just everyone has a different favorite, and
I mean, there's no wrong answer. All of his stuff's great. So
all his stuff's great. But I agree with your points that you've been making, and I'm glad you were finally able to check this off the box on your to watch list.
Yeah, I just have to see Millennium Actress, and I think there's one more that I'm blanking on, but then I'm like, I can't watch it because then I'm done. Sadly.
yeah, I'm unfortunately in that camp where I have seen all of his anime output that I think I can, with the exception of like some little tiny things that he wasn't like the principal creator on. Like, I haven't watched like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure OVAs or something like that.
You could go to the extended universe, which is all his like unfinished manga that has been published.
That's what I was going to get to, is I've read Tropic of the Sea a number of years ago, really liked that, but I haven't watched, I have not read his manga collaboration with Mamoru Oshii, which I'm sure will either, like with a lot of Oshii things, either be the greatest thing I've ever read, or it will bore me to tears. And I also have not read Opus either, which I know is getting an anime adaptation, which I'm pretty excited about.
I did find a fun fact though when I was kind of reading some stuff about it after I watched it. Now I really want to go back and watch the Japanese voice cast, and this makes perfect sense, and I can't believe I didn't clock this, but now that like I know this, it, like you totally can see it. But the two cafe guys in the film, in Japanese, the taller one with the glasses is voiced by him, Satoshi Kon, and the kind of shorter one is voiced by Yasutaka Susui, which is the author of the Paprika novel.
How about that?
Yes. Yeah, but he also wrote The Girl Who Leapt Through Time and like a bunch of novels that have been adapted into anime. He's a pretty big deal.
Now, I do wonder, because I know that like there were significant changes made to the Perfect Blue novel whenever it was adapted into an anime. Masao Maruyama even talked about that at Animazement. He was just like they went to the author whenever they were pitching the movie idea and said, basically like, we don't like the perspective that you wrote this book in, so we're going to change it or something like that, to make it more of like Mima's story rather than the Stalker's story, I believe. And that makes me wonder how much of the original Paprika novel is really applicable to the movie. It makes me wonder. Or if it's a very similar thing where Kon like took like the broad strokes of Paprika and then adapted it in a very much his own thing. I don't know. I'd be curious to look into it.
I'm looking it up now, and it looks like the synopsis of the novel is the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many like little things, but they basically use it's called the DC Mini in the book to dream monitor for mental disorders and therapy.
Yeah, I think it is available in English, so I definitely would like to read it sometime.
Yeah, I think his popular ones have all been translated and brought here, so yeah.
Just for fun sometime, I need to memorize the nonsense monologue that the one doctor says before he jumps out of the hospital building.
Oh.
I need to memorize that.
That was so good. Something about, I don't even remember, but it just, I don't even know. Those were really good. I wonder if those were direct translations or close, or like they just went in a whole different, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Computer graphics playing in my head, and I like it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So also thank you for that recommendation.
So as a decent pairing to Tori's odd, surreal anime with Paprika, the other show that I watched was also pretty odd and surreal in its own unique ways, and that was Alien 9. From 2001, I believe, which was just a 4-episode series based on a manga by a pretty short manga by Hitoshi Tonizawa, who mostly writes short stories. And looking at his credits, one thing that stood out to me for Tori is that he did a manga adaptation of Yume Nikki.
Yeah.
That came out in the early 2010s. But this show I don't really know that I really expected exactly what it was. And also on the topic of Perfect Blue, it was actually written by the same screenplay writer, Sadayuki Murai, who was a guest actually at Animazement all the way back in 2016, which, checking his animecons.com entry, is like the only anime convention he's listed to have ever attended.
That's very
Oh my
random.
gosh.
So I'm like, wow, that is pretty nuts. I mean, he's written a lot of stuff, but Perfect Blue is one of those things pretty high up there. So whenever he was here back in 2016, I got him to sign my the insert from the old like Manga Entertainment DVD that I have. I've since gotten rid of that DVD, but I still have the insert, of course. I need to get that framed, but I thought that was pretty wild. Yeah, he wrote about he wrote 2 of the episodes, I believe. And then the series was partially directed by Yasuhiro Ire, who also did the character designs. Though most people would probably know Ire as being the director of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That is his pretty significant claim to fame. But this show is not like that at all. So it's kind of an odd show to describe. I'm not going to spend a whole ton of time on it, but
would you describe it as atmospheric and kind of surreal?
Yeah. In a way, it very much is. But here's what my Santa had to say about Alien 9. 3 young girls catch aliens for their strange and probably evil school club. Features a young Yasuhiro Ire from Corral Phantom Memory and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood on directorial duties for 3 out of 4 episodes. The anime only adapts part of the manga, but it's still worth watching. I think very well said. This short series was something that was put out by Central Park Media way back in the day, and Animego just announced not too long ago that they had gotten the license back for it, so they will be putting it back out on Blu-ray. And I will definitely be picking that up. I do believe if it's not too high of a price, I would definitely buy this show because I enjoyed it, even though it is not complete. I think my Santa summed it up pretty well, that it is sort of generally about, these 3 young girls who are at this school club, and this school for some reason has like an alien infestation going on, but it doesn't seem to interfere with classes that much. I mean, it does and it doesn't. But these 3 girls who are have this pretty iconic design of with these like weird frog creature looking helmets with wings on it, and then like a kind of like a gym, like a kind of a baggy like gym outfit, and then like knee pads and like skates. It's kind of an iconic, look. And they basically fight the aliens with their weird aliens that are attached to their heads, like these helmets. And one of the girls is like slightly older and a bit more confident. One of the other girls is like very like energetic and outgoing, and the other girl is like very like afraid and insecure and not confident in herself. So they've kind of got those personality dynamics going on. And then like it's either the school nurse or like their teacher is like the one that's like showing them how to be like alien hunters or whatever. I don't quite remember what the relationship is, but there's some sort of weird sciencey stuff going on. And as the show progresses, I mean, it's not very long, but some truly bizarre visuals happen. Some weird alien nonsense goes on at the school, and the girls go through trying to deal with that. And some of the aliens cause like very like Evangelion-esque like psychotic breakdowns, and there's also like a lot of bizarre like body horror stuff going on here. And it's very like, it's a early 2000s like digipaint show, so it's like not the highest resolution in the world, but it is like very, very well animated for that time period. It was made by JC staff around the same time they were doing stuff like Azumanga Daioh and things, and which is pretty funny.
That's so random.
Right. But yeah, I mean, they really put forth a lot of effort into some of the scenes in this, especially like the more gruesome elements and like the creatures and things. But even with all of that, it has kind of a lighthearted tone in some scenes. It kind of does, hop back and forth between being like a bit of a goofy show and a bit of like a harrowing nightmare. So I can completely understand why this has a very, very strong cult following, even with its just sort of like brief 4 episodes. I think Tori had described it to you as being like the halfway point between Azumanga and Serial Experiments Lane or something like that.
Yes.
It kind of has not necessarily in content, but sort of in tone, because it can be very, very what is it, like eerie and uncomfortable.
It's very dark.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't pretend to know exactly what was going on, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very interesting, very cool, and I just wish that I had more of it. But from the 4 episodes that we do have, like, I thought it was just real neat.
Those character designs are another thing that I have seen throughout many a year on the internet. Never knew what they were actually from. And so when I saw you watching this, I was like, oh, wait, I recognize that. And then like the most soul-shattering, depressing stuff started happening. And I was like, I thought this was a comedy show. What are we doing?
Well, that's the thing. It has like these rounded like girls that look like they're having a good time, that look like they're, like you said this, Tori, like out of Hidamari's sketch or something.
Yeah, they're not having a good time. I'll say that much.
They are not. But again, like these designs are very, very, very well done. I think this is a great silhouette with this this look.
You know what this reminds me of? It's not the same thing, but that show School Live, where at first it's like these cutesy anime girls, and they're like, oh, we're in a camping club, and we're just having fun camping in the school, and nothing's going on. And then it gets revealed that the zombie apocalypse has happened. And you're like, but one of the girls is completely oblivious, but everyone else knows what's going on. I know it's not a one-to-one comparison, but it kind of reminds me of that.
I could see where you're getting that from. I think the whole thing, like with School Live, it's like the whole thing is that it's a setup with a twist, right? Is like they're doing kind of a rug pull, to sort of get you in the door, to be like, you think it's like this, but it's really not, and that's kind of the setup for that show. Now I don't know where it goes from there, because I know that's just the initial setup, but Alien 9 seems to just throw you right in to this world and doesn't really explain anything of how we got here with these like weird alien creatures that are, you know, attached to these girls' heads as like weird helmets that also like talk to each other and have like, you know, feelings and emotions.
Telekinetic and ESP
it's
stuff
like,
going on.
You're gonna get that depression tag from Letterboxd, and you're gonna like it.
Right, and we're just gonna throw you right in. It's a little bit more like FLCL in that regard, where they just throw you into the weird stuff. Like there's no, they don't ease you into it.
It's just part of the world.
It's just, it's part of the world. Like FLCL explains a little bit of stuff, but it's always like a vague allusion to like stuff going on in the background, because it's not really the point. Again, I had a lot of fun with it. There's a episode where the one alien head creature like dies and then becomes like a weird mess of hair, and it's just like deeply strange, but the animation is so good. Like I don't know, this thing is wild.
This feels like a jam that our friend Tobias would be like, this show's amazing. It seems like something that would be in his surrealism panel.
If Tobias has not seen this, he absolutely needs to. With the only caveat being that the narrative itself is a little bit unsatisfying because it's only 4 episodes and they do not adapt the whole story.
No.
This is, I would say, if you're interested in sort of things that are a little off and experimental and surreal, you've got to watch. You have got to watch Alien 9. So thank you, Santa. I'd seen copies of this on the used bookstore shelves for many years, And I actually bought myself a copy a while ago and ripped it and then got rid of it and then forgot about it. So I still had the file on my hard drive, just never actually watched it until now. So thank you for finally being the push that I needed to check this little thing out.
Thanks, used media stores. You provide such a good use. Thanks.
Wee!
Wee.
Reduce, reuse, resell.
Yeah.
So my show that I got assigned to do was Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Eyes burning away to me. Eyes destroying so sweetly. Now there is a fire in me, a fire that
Which, according to my Secret Santa person, is an entirely bonkers time to watch. A street kid named David aimed to overcome numerous obstacles in a generally violent and dominated by money cyber city and survive. So, a little background on Cyberpunk Edgerunners. This came out because at the time CD Projekt Red was making the video game Cyberpunk 2077 based off the tabletop RPG game, and kind of as a media tie-in to sort of promote the game, they got Studio Trigger to make this 10-episode ONA series exclusively for Netflix. Now, long-time listeners of the show probably know my feelings on Trigger are mixed. I feel that Trigger does some amazing animation work. I get why the Sucker nerds love them. I'm very kind of cold most of the time on Trigger stuff.
Bill likes Trigger stuff as long as Imaishi is not involved.
Right. Whereas, unfortunately, for Imaishi is the director of Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
A big L for Bill.
Yeah. Imaishi, if you don't, director of Gurren Lagann, did Kill la Kill, did Promare. And I will say off the bat, I think the show looks great. As of course, with all Studio Trigger things. It's got some great action sequences. I think it does a really good job of conveying the cyberpunk world and just kind of how depressing it can be. But man, the pacing of the show made me want to tear my hair out.
Too fast, too slow.
It's like they didn't get enough of a runway. For example, David, when you first meet him, he's kind of a street urchin kid that's barely making by, but his mom, who is an EMT, has saved up enough money to get him to go to a very expensive corporate academy. But all the students treat him like crap, and he feels like he doesn't fit in. He gets into a fight at the school, and his mom kind of takes him out, and they're talking, and then she gets killed by a gang on the interstate.
Dang.
Yeah. But what he finds in her possession is a specialized military cybertech upgrade called a SanDisk. That was a Sandia. And he
A
puts
SanDisk,
it,
like the flash drives.
it's not a SanDisk, but I want to call it that because that's the way when I see it spelled. But it basically, he gets it installed, and it basically allows him to have like the slowing of time speed. So while everyone's shooting and moving, he can slow down time and stop them in their tracks and move across the environment really quickly. And so to make extra credits, he decides to become an Edgerunner, which is basically these gangs that work for fixers that get intel on the two major corporations within the world of cyberpunk. And my problem is the pacing with the show, where at first I thought it was pretty interesting, but it feels like the show is like, we only have 10 episodes, we gotta go, 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 go. So he gets introduced to this female edgerunner named Lucy, who of course is the romantic love interest. And David is very wet behind the ears. He's like trying to act cool, but he's not because he doesn't have the experience. So they meet in episode 2, and then by episode 4, they're a couple.
Okay.
And I felt like this relationship isn't earned because I feel like I barely got to see them develop as a couple. Or like, why would this experienced edgerunner fall in love for this kind of wet behind the ears guy? The only time I could see it is like he saves her from a psycho person. A psycho in the show is someone that is over enhanced themselves, where they begin to lose reality and lose their mind.
Now, is this romance more believable or less believable than 8th MS Team?
Less believable than 8th MS Team.
Less believable than that? You're kidding me.
In my opinion. Now I could be wrong.
Oh man.
But it just feels like they don't really give enough connective tissue for me to be like, okay, this is why they're a couple. Because it's like they have one experience together in the second episode that I thought like, oh, well, she just used that to trap him for her gang. And that's initially true, but it's the only time she's shown it to somebody else. And then he saves her, and then they're a couple for some reason. And then in the sixth episode, we get a time skip where he's no longer wet behind the ears. He's super jacked. He's like cyberneted himself to the extreme, and he's like the expert. And I'm like, what is with this time skip? We've barely seen him as kind of the wet behind the ears guy. And it's just the pacing of the show just really frustrated me because it felt like we barely got time to get to know these characters. Or one sentiment they say in the beginning when he joins the gang, the leader says, Maine says, "Be careful, kid. Everyone's gonna eventually betray you." So I'm like, oh, okay, so he's got to always be on his toes, even within his own gang. Nope, not really. The gang is pretty tight, except for one member towards the end that betrays them. But there's no real, like, they're all pretty buddy-buddy with each other. And it seems to me that Imaishi was more focused on, like, I'm going to do, like, John Woo action sequences with lots of blood splurting everywhere, heads coming off, just over-the-top John Woo action sequences that are fun to watch, but the pacing of the story bugged me.
Sounds like something that might have either benefited from maybe less scope or just the same story but maybe more time.
This needed to
Double
be like
episodes, maybe.
This needed to be like 13 episodes and not 10.
Okay. Is this a similar issue that you had to, because I know you had issues with Promare as well, where you thought like now you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your general take on Promare was like you generally liked most of it, like the core stuff going on, but you thought like the world outside, like the supporting cast and the little bit of the world that we see was a little bit underdeveloped.
Correct. Whereas
Okay.
it feels like this is the reverse.
Oh,
where
interesting.
it's like it's about kind of the world and just kind of it hammers down to you like this world sucks. For example, when David's mom dies and he gets her to the hospital, he's like, well, we can give you the discount package that could cover these expenses, but not this. And he's like, okay, I'll do this. And then she dies, and he's like, I thought I paid for this. Well, I'm sorry, it was in this other package. And now you have to determine which package you want to do to deal with the burial of your mother on top of it.
I mean, that sounds a little too close to home in these United States in 2025 now, doesn't it?
What? I mean, it's the dystopian becomes reality, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think just it does a good job kind of illustrating the bleakness of the world. If everyone has a boss they have to answer to, the Edgerunners have to answer to a fixer. The fixer has to answer to a corporation, and everyone's feeling the pressure of getting the job done. I think it does a really good job illustrating that pressure of like, we gotta hit this job, or if we don't, we're screwed.
Like the suffocating nature of living in this world.
Correct.
Right.
And
Like, I don't know much about like Cyberpunk as a game much. I've never played it myself, but that is kind of what I've gathered that the world is kind of like, is that it's like the worst version of like what we're currently dealing with in society now. Though we're like quickly running in that direction. We are edge running towards the reality of Cyberpunk. And just like it's like a very suffocating kind of world that game takes place in.
Right.
Yeah.
Although they don't, none of the game's plot and at least the anime's plot are completely separate, so you don't need to play the game. They're just
I was just about to ask that.
They're just they're tying me in. It's like Keanu Reeves doesn't show up in the anime.
Well, that was the thing too. It's just like whenever this anime came out, I remember people kind of like poo-pooing on it because at the time, like CD Projekt Red was really in a real bad situation because the launch of Cyberpunk was like kind of notoriously awful.
It was pretty bad. Like, it was pulled from the PlayStation Store on the PS4 because it didn't run well. And I think just the marketing of the game really soured people because I think they expected more greater choices like in the Witcher games, but it's more of an action adventure game, not an RPG.
And it was kind of funny remembering, when this came out, not that long ago. What was it, like 2022? 21?
Something like 21, yeah, I think so.
Like this anime coming out, it was just like, oh wow, it seems like the general consensus was that like people liked it and they thought it was funny that this like multimedia like side project thing about Cyberpunk was like the best thing that came out of it and not the game itself.
I'd say
which I thought was an interesting thing.
The game has gotten a better reputation because of all the fixes they've done, but initially it was pretty rough.
Right.
But again, this isn't going back to the show. This is again an example of me getting frustrated by Studio Trigger's pacing, and it's more focused on action-oriented stuff and less on plot or character, which I get. If you're a Sakuga fan, like, you want the action to look pretty, and I get it. But I'm more in it for like, that's the icing on the cake. I want the cake to be good. And I will say Promare is Amaishi's best thing that I've mostly liked, even though I don't think it's perfect. Like everyone on the internet said it was. And the best Studio Trigger thing ever is BNA.
Ah, that is a hipster pick.
Incorrect.
What is the best Studio Trigger thing?
Bill, please.
I want to know what it is.
It's
Little Witch Academia.
definitely
Nope, it's not. Nope, it's not.
all I talk about anymore is Delicious in Dungeon. So like, let's just.
But
I
won't be the sour. I won't be the annoying internet person. But I have problems with Little Witch. But they're dumb nitpicks. But they're my nitpicks.
Bill hates joy and whimsy is what we continue to learn.
True. But Tori said Delicious in Dungeon, by the way.
Delicious in Dungeon,
Yeah.
great show. Love it. Can't wait for season 2. Want to read the manga at some point.
You think BNA is better than Delicious in Dungeon, or are you not necessarily counting adaptations?
Oh wait, you know what? I'm forgetting. Delicious in Dungeon is a Trigger thing, isn't it?
Yes,
It sure is.
You know what? I would say for originals, BNA is their best thing. And if I had to give an overall thing, Delicious in Dungeon is their best thing.
I will
That's fair.
allow it.
I just, you know what? I completely forgot the Listen Dungeon was trigger thing because it doesn't have the usual trigger tropes that I find.
Well, I
anyway.
mean, it's easy to
Well.
forget. It's easy to forget because it is like very different than what people typically associate with Trigger's output. It's also like not made by either
The
a
usual-
Maishi or
the usual crew,
Like
yeah.
main
Right.
staff.
yeah, it's or his name escapes me, but the guy that did Little Witch, who's been there forever as well. But yeah, it's not made by that same team. It's made by kind of a new gen of Trigger folk.
Right.
Yoshinari. Yoshinari is the name I was thinking
Yes.
of.
But yeah, I think VNA has a similar kind of like dystopian world, kind of similar to Cyberpunk, but I thought it was a much better job at conveying that the environment, but also had strong character arcs. So
Wasn't
that's
that
kinda-
one of your that was one of your previous Secret Santas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Where Tobias wanted to talk about was the baseball episode, and that was it. I want to talk about. I want to talk about more about that show because there's more to that show than the baseball episode. But nobody will admit that except me.
But well, you know why that is, of course, is because the baseball episode was directed by Imaishi.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Wrapping things up, I think it does a good. I really like the world that they portray in Cyberpunk. The dub is very good. They got I'm so bad with names. Gus from Breaking Bad.
Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah, he is the main villain of Cyberpunk.
Oh,
Edgerunners.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so him showing up is like, oh, cool. Esposito. He's always cool when he shows up and things. So yeah, he plays the fixer for the Edgerunner group that is always it's kind of putting the screw on them. So
He's always on some random side quest.
True. So true.
yeah, it feels like once he got like recognition for Breaking Bad, and it's like, I'm just gonna have fun and do projects that I find
Yeah,
fun.
man. He got that Breaking Bad money, so he can just do whatever he wants
Yeah,
now.
it's like,
right.
yeah, you want me to be a villain in a random Far Cry game? Sure, I'll do that.
Sure.
Sure. Star Wars, Mandalorian, let's go.
Well, Bill, based on your somewhat kind of, it seems like a tepidly somewhat positive, maybe positive with like a lowercase p take on Cyberpunk with many caveats. If you're saying that and that's your take on it, then I'll probably, whenever I do get around to checking it out, because it is, well, I don't know if I'll love it, but I'll probably like it at least, 5 to 10% more than you.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, because it is like it is like a big blind spot on my Trigger bingo card, because I'm pretty sure it's like the only thing of theirs that I have not seen in full. Not counting the new Panty and Stocking that like just came out, because to my great shame, I've still never seen the original, so I'm not going to watch the new one without seeing the original yet.
We are going to fix that.
Yeah, I'd like to. And I would like to check out Cyberpunk at some point. I watched like the first 2 episodes of it and thought it was, pretty neat. It definitely seemed like very insane in a very Trigger way. But just haven't gotten back to it. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd say, like the world, good dub, looks great, annoyed by pacing, tepid recommendation, not my least favorite Trigger thing.
Which is like a glowing recommendation for Bill.
for most Trigger stuff, yeah. It's like Listen Dungeon, BNA, S tier quality stuff.
Yeah.
Other things have a bunch of Bill nitpicky caveats.
Bill yucks.
Exactly.
Bill's list of yucks. No, we need to
Yes.
publish this on the website at some point. It's like Bill's currently running Trigger disliker ranking. So like as a Trigger disliker, here's how Bill ranks all of their works, and you can include the stuff that goes back into the Guy Next Days too, if it's like majority the same team.
So Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill would be on there too?
Well, Kill la Kill is a Trigger thing, but Gurren Lagann was Gynax, and so was Panty and Stocking.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense since they're doing the sequel and they got that. So, but I'm really excited to hear about Tori's final show.
Guys, oh my God.
Buckle in.
Okay. Beep, beep. Can you cut in, oh, why am I blanking on the song? I literally was
The opening song?
listening to it on the way home today. No, not the opening
Or
song.
Opening's pretty good, though.
Yes, it's fun. Vroom Vroom by Charlie XCX. I think we need to cut that in real quick.
Sure, why
Because
not?
this dude would be listening to that in the car, but then would pretend like he didn't like it.
Beep beep, so let's ride. Bitches know they can't catch me. Cute, sexy, and my ride sporty. Those slugs know they can't catch me. Beep beep, so let's ride.
Now I need to know what animal she would be. Okay, so my last recommendation, and this was actually the first thing I watched, and it clicked with me immediately. This is an extremely Tori show, so thank you to my Secret Santa, because I heard about this forever, really wanted to watch it. Everybody I know who has seen it loves it, and I feel dumb for not watching this sooner, but my last thing was Odd Taxi. Their sell to me was fantastic plot that connects at first, disconnected stories, and interweaves them into a great crescendo. Plus, if you like anthropomorphic characters like in Beastars, this could be your jam. One, I am never beating the allegations of being a furry. And two, I don't know how this person got into my brain and somehow dug out the old Durarara obsession that I used to have, but this scratches that itch. This is literally just Durarara with animals.
Yeah.
I really see it.
Yeah. I mean, the back half of it, not so much. But oh man, it's so good. And
It's like all the interweaving perspectives, and like everybody's kind of doing their own thing over here and over there, but then they all converge. And
yes. I don't want to go too in depth because this is something you need to go into without knowing anything about it. But the general gist is that you are kind of like in modern day Japan, modern day Tokyo, and there is a walrus who is a taxi driver, like everybody's anthropomorphic animals, like in Beastars. And he is this kind of grumpy, sort of like late middle-aged guy, very just matter-of-fact, to the point. He drives this taxi. He has no real goals or like desires in his life. Like he just drives the taxi and that's what basically keeps him going. He starts to kind of learn of this disappearance and all of these weird things going on in the city, kind of in the area that he drives. And then he starts to get tangled up with the Yakuza and the police in this murder mystery, essentially. And I cried at the end of it. I was not expecting it to go the way that it did. And it was so good. And there's this one scene in the end as it's all ramping up to have kind of the closure of the story. And you get this quick flash of something. And I saw it. I like went back just to make sure I saw what I saw correctly. And I was like, that's not what's happening. And then that's exactly what happened. And it was just, I love it. It's great.
Can I mention, this isn't a big plot spoiler, but I love how each rider in the taxi have their own quirks in the initial early episodes. Like the one that I always found funny was the guy who is trying to be a live streamer and is like live streaming in the taxi, and he's like has barely any followers watching his stream, and he's trying to do the like upbeat streamer voice. We're going. And he's struggling, and I don't know why, but that made me laugh.
And then doesn't he basically become like a right-wing hate monger where he's like very specifically going after like the taxi driver or something? Or is it the other guy?
No. It's the other guy. It's the Yakuza guy. And it's not it's not like that.
Okay.
Yes. He's going after the Yakuza guy, and he basically is like trying to make himself seem like really tough and cool so he can get a following and like impress the people around him. He's not like hate mongering, basically.
So he is
well,
doing
I mean,
it,
to the Yakuza guy, but like not.
So, but he is kind of, so he's like still like cynically doing it for clout, but not
correct.
But his like his outcome is not evil, I guess. It's like he's still going after like a bad person, but he's just doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yes, yeah. He doesn't necessarily care about actually necessarily catching this guy. Right. Yeah, it's more about he just wants I'm going to take him down.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Doing it for the vine.
Also, if I had a nickel for every time capoeira was a plot point in a TV show, I'd have 2 nickels. And that's weird that it's happened twice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the alpaca lady, God, I loved her.
Much like how Tori sort of dropped in and out of consciousness watching a Singular Point, I kind of did the same thing with Odd Taxi, but I did sit and watch like a good few complete full episodes, and I thoroughly enjoyed what I saw. I really want to go back and finish it.
I'm assuming you guys did the dub, right?
Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That was fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes. It definitely scratched my itch for my obsession of like being able to determine voice actors by ear most of the time. Because I was like, oh my God, that's that person. And that's that person. And that's that person. And I think my favorite thing, there is a giraffe that becomes pretty relevant to the plot later on. And he shows up for like a split second. And I was like, holy crap, that giraffe looks like Okarun. And it's the same voice actor for the English dub of the for Don Da Don. It's Okarun's voice actor.
Yeah.
And
H.A. Beckles.
That fried me. Yes, thank you. But apparently the Japanese cast is the exact same. It's like, oh, this person, is really famous for this. And so
I don't mean I mean this with the utmost respect, but the main walrus is basically Mike McFarland doing his best Steve Bloom impression, and it's excellent. It's such a good job, fantastic. Mike McFarland has great range, and I hope he's doing well. I know he's had a lot of health problems, so I hope he's doing well.
I think just what I really like about that show, not getting into the later half, but I love how every character in that show is so memorable and sticks in my head. Like, even though I hadn't watched the show recently, I can still remember the idol group name, Mystery Kiss.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, them, or I really like the relationship between the Walrus Taxi main character and the nurse. I think they have a great rapport, and I always enjoyed their conversations between the two of them. Like, just everything about that show with just really good written dialogue, great character interactions that are really compelling. It's a real treat.
Yeah. The reveal of the missing persons case too was kind of just like, oh, Okay, that's crazy. I hate to talk about this so vaguely, but I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it. But yeah, just the way that the character writing, kind of makes the narrative feel more realistic. Like I could believe these things could be real and actually like happening to these characters. Like it just seems so silly and absurd, but you could easily see somebody getting into that situation for sure.
The animal kingdom sure is a dramatic place.
That's right. Oh,
And
man, go ahead.
one thing I'll recommend, since you really like the show, they did a live action version of the show called Root that Crunchyroll did get the license for. So it is
Okay.
I'll say this: I did not watch it, but the live action version does resolve shows the reveal of one cliffhanger at the end.
Ooh, okay.
Without going into spoilers.
Yes.
And there's also a movie, right? And Bill, have you seen that?
No, because it's a compilation movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
boo.
It's a compilation movie, and I'm like, I watched the TV show. I'm good.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, very, very pleasant surprise. I was very happy with that. And I, like I said, I feel like my person just was able to look at my list and parse that into pretty much exactly what I asked for. So they did good. Good job. Good job to my Santa.
Yeah. They nailed it on at least 2.5 fronts.
Yeah.
Which is honestly more than I can say for, no disrespect, I love you all, but it's more than I can say for some of my Santas in previous years where, you know, I've gotten some stuff that has been just not my cup of tea. This year, you know, Alien 9, I, you know, unequivocally enjoyed quite a bit. Singular Point was like, fine, I guess. I'm sure had I rolled the dice on Yatagarasu, maybe that would have been the real A++. But I'm glad that your Santa really knocked it out of the ballpark.
Yes, I will give them a big firm handshake if I ever cross paths with them in real life.
Well, I thought what I really liked is I thought we had a good diversity of picks and different shows. Like, that's what I always enjoy about Anime Secret Santas. You never know what you're gonna get, and it's never like I never felt like I've ever gotten like a here's the most popular isekai at the time, or here's the new hot shonen. It's always different things that may or may not have been on my radar. So that's what I always appreciate about Anime Secret Santa.
Yeah, and I think you know, just knowing the general pool of quality folks that tend to participate in this initiative every year, I think it sort of self-selects for, you know, people picking good picks, at least in the sense of they're gonna, you know, pick decent options. Like, you may not, you personally may not enjoy everything that you watch or whatever, but like the picks will be very solid.
Yeah. And it's a very good way to get out of your comfort bubble, I think, because I can be very, very particular about what I watch. And just even some of the stuff that I had, this is only my second year doing it, but even the stuff that was chosen for me last year, I was like, you know, these are interesting. I don't think I would ever watch them if I wasn't pushed. And so I'm excited to keep participating to see what inevitably gets recommended in the future. And it's definitely a fine line of like not just throwing what you like at the person, but trying to make it appeal to, like, it's a very delicate phrasing of how you sell your show to whoever you got, for sure.
thread that needle between something that you both personally really stand by and are passionate about and enjoy, and also something you think that would really fit the tastes and likes of your person, which is something I always try and do as well. And I also try not to recommend the same stuff every single year whenever I'm submitting stuff for my Santa. My Santa this year was very, very challenging to recommend stuff for, because they have seen a ton of stuff, a ton of very quality stuff. But I'm not going to reveal who it is, because that's not my place to do it. The reveal will be, well, it's already happened by the time you're listening to this, but it'll be on Christmas.
Yeah, I feel like I lucked out because the person I got, when I saw their to be watched list, I was rubbing my hands together like a sicko, because I was like, oh crap, I'm choosing too much, actually. How do I narrow this down? I had like 15 tabs open. So I hope they enjoyed what I sent.
I'm sure. Cannot wait.
Yeah. I picked some wild card stuff, man. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, if you guys don't have anything left to say about Secret Santa this year, I guess we can just go ahead and wrap it up. Pun intended.
And a nice Christmas bow.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Thanks everyone at home for listening to our Anime Secret Santa holiday special yet again. Thank you, of course, to our Santas out there, whoever you are, for, giving us these wonderful picks for us to talk about and to enjoy this holiday season. Thank you, Tori and Bill, for joining me and unwrapping our gifts together. Tori, where can people find you online?
Yeah, I am over on Blue Sky at Worst Waifu. I haven't been too active, but I am mostly being a silly little guy over in the Discord, so come over there and hang out and be silly.
Bill, what about you?
I'm also on the Blue Sky WB 4min39s. I retweet stuff a lot usually. I've noticed I've been doing that. And I'm also on the Third Impact server, just posting fun events about the world. Fun stuff. That's what I usually post.
Stuff. Nothing but fun stuff out in that their world.
In the big old world.
Yes, exactly. I'm also on Blue Sky. You can find me over at Ars Arcantum. That's me. You can follow me there. But like Tori and Bill said, please join the Third Impact Anime Discord. You are more than welcome to be there, as long as you are a cool person and agree to follow the rules. You can find a invite to that over on our website, which is thirdimpactanime.com, where you can also find show notes for this episode and links to all of our previous episodes, and wonderful other ways that you can connect with us on, a handful of other social media sites, but Blue Sky is definitely the primary one. And of course, you can follow the podcasts page over there at Third Impact Anime. If you really like the show and want to help us spread the good news of great joy about anime podcasting, you can always share this episode with a friend. We would really appreciate that. Or if you want to throw us a couple bucks over on Patreon, you can do that as well. We still, multiple years into having a Patreon, have extremely pathetic tier rewards, but we hope that for the couple of people who do subscribe and actually give us money, that they either think it's worth it or something else, or we held them at gunpoint at some point and forced them to do it, or I don't know what their motivation is for giving us money. I wouldn't give us money, but if you want to give us money, if you're that type of person, well, bless you. And head over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/thirdimpactanime. Don't forget to give this podcast a rating and a review if you liked it, or even if you didn't like it, give it a 5-star anyway. And yeah, I hope you out there have a wonderful holiday season. Take it easy. It's pretty rough out there, but you know what? Anime will always be there for you, or something. I don't know. Merry Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
Bill, say Happy Honda Days.
Happy anime watching.
Say Happy Honda Days.
No. I'm not gonna...
Say the line.
Say the line.
No. You can't
Bill.
make me.
William, say the line in the Christmas play.
You're asking...
You have one line.
No, I will not. You're not going to make the person that can't drive say happy haunted days. Yes, go buy. Yes, the person that says can't drive, go buy a car. Great, good. Go buy a car.
Happy
This is
public
feeling
transit
like
days.
You know what? I like that.
God, yeah, right.
Happy public transit. More public transit for all, and for all a good night.
I agree. That's what we're going to sign off with. Beautiful.
Oh no. Can I stop recording?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great.
ご自慢を見てくれているみんなにもいっぱいいっぱい幸せが訪れますように。メリークリスマス。